Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at GCNlive.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday morning, December 18th. Obviously, you have other choices on a Saturday morning besides listening to Wall Street Raw, so I certainly appreciate you tuning in to our program. No other show like it in the sense that we really take a look at what the financial press is not talking about, and we try to really get down to the nitty-gritty of the market. And as you know, I'm very much a contrarian, cyclical analyst, and a technical analyst. I've only done this for 35 years and been through and survived the crashes since 1987. In fact, my book, The Trader's Book of Volume, I talk about how I've never, ever been caught in a market crash. Luck, maybe, but it's technical analysis because we see volume patterns ahead of time, and that includes 9/11, that includes 1987, that includes the flash crash of May 2010, that includes the sell-off for this year, and we go down the whole list. In fact, for our clients at vrtrader.com, which is our website, again, vrtrader.com, you could also get information at WallStreetRawRadio.com, but our website is vrtrader.com. We are short the market here, and we play that versus inverse ETFs, exchange-traded funds. And, we not too happy about the market here. I've been talking about this all year. In fact, our annual forecast model, which we put out every year at the end of January, told us that this could be a down year. And if you look at stocks across the board, that's very, very much the case. We get into a little bit more specifics on that in a moment, but basically it's been a down year. The headlines read everything is fine, but everything is not fine. If you take a close look at the market, you'll see it's tired, it's out of shape, and teetering on collapse. You've got names like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and so forth. Netflix is another one, or part of a small group of stocks that have held the market up, particularly the NASDAQ, which is held up, is still up for the year, but the Dow and S&P are off for the year. And they've held the NASDAQ up possibly because these are massive companies. Amazon, for example, is worth $309 billion. It's 9 times larger than the average stock in the S&P. Plus these giant stocks are propping up the market. They're extremely expensive. The average stock in the S&P 500 has a price-earnings ratio of just over 19, which is still a little high. But Google has a P/E ratio of 36. Facebook has a P/E ratio of 105. Amazon has an off-the-charts P/E ratio of 955. These are sky-high valuations, and apparently they haven't scared away investors perhaps only in those stocks, but they keep buying them because they think these companies will give them safety during a downturn. Maybe, maybe not, but if you want to have a portfolio of only 4 or 5 stocks, that's fine with you. But, in our analysis, we got some problems here. Let me remind you that We do have a special guest on the show today. A good friend of mine, Eric Haddock from Inside Track, will join us later in the program. And I'm also going to have Dr. Scott Brown join us. He's a professor of finance of the Accredited Graduate School of Business at the University of Puerto Rico. So he'll be with us later today. My friend Sinclair No is down in Brazil enjoying a Christmas holiday. So we won't have the pleasure of talking to Sinclair until early in the year, just after New Year's. So have to be a little patient with Sinclair, but he'll be back, and I'm sure we'll pick up on all the Eat the Bankers research. Again, he's got that website, eatthebankers.com. I want to talk to you about eSignal. eSignal is the technical platform that I primarily use for my volume reversal VR technical analysis that I refer to. That's what VR is in VRTrader.com. If you want more information on eSignal, which is a sponsor of this program, please go to eSignal.com/radio. That's eSignal.com/radio. Great platform, easy to use. My VR indicator is available. If you sign up, there is a free trial, so I would consider doing that. A lot of the analysis that I talk about here and the opinions I express are a result of the volume stuff that I've been doing for many, many years. And basically it was created when I was a floor trader back in the 1970s and 80s, where you're on the floor watching the volume patterns, and that's how we developed this. That's when I was a market maker on the Chicago Board Options Exchange many, many years ago, almost a lifetime ago, in terms of what the market has done since, and the characteristics of the market has changed since then. If you go to our website, also there are a couple free reports. If you go to VRTrader.com, we have a Vice News Raw report, which covers gaming stocks, alcohol, tobacco, and the new cannabis sector. So check that out. You get a free Vice News Raw report. That's not the Vice newsletter itself, but it is a weekly report. And you can also get Gold News Raw report if you go to the website. Sign up. There's no credit card required. You could sign up for both of those, and I certainly encourage you to do so. Also, we also have a link to WallStreetRawHealth.com you should check out. That's where Dr. Joel Wallach's great products are offered, and I take them myself and have for many years. And I keep telling the story how I've been into organic foods and health foods. In fact, my mentor got me started in the stock market back in the 1970s. First day I met him, took me to a health food store and made me drink a carrot juice, and never thought I could get it down, but it was sweet, and that got me started on health foods and organic foods. But what I learned over the years, you don't get the nutrition from the foods, even though I'm a big proponent of going to stores like Whole Foods and so forth. So the vitamins and stuff that Dr. Wallach offers are very important. They've helped me. So WallStreetRawHealth.com is something you should check out as well. Many of you may remember me as one of the elves on the Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week program from the 1980s, 1990s, and that was a great honor. And others, you may have remembered me as the market monitor guest with Paul Kangas on PBS's nightly business report. We did that for a good 30 years. So time flies when you're having fun, and Paul retired, and Louis Rukeyser passed away, so we have to move on. But it really was an honor being involved in those two programs, and it kept me in front of the public and helped my newsletter business. And it's an honor to do this show, which, as you know, we launched May of this year. And just to stay out there and talk to you guys. At some point, we're going to start taking phone calls. We haven't set that up yet. We're going to wait until our distribution on the show is a little bit more syndication of the show, and then we'll start going to talk about getting you on the air if you had some questions. But if you do have them in the meantime, you can always email me at mark.vrtrader@gmail.com. That's mark.vrtrader@gmail.com if you do have any questions, and I'll try to respond to you via email during the week. If you miss any previous shows, this program is archived at the Genesis Communication Network, and it's archived at GCNlive.com. If you're tuning in on the Internet now, you already have that address, but old shows are archived there, so I encourage you to check that as well. So we only have a few seconds left on this break. I'm going to join I think Scott Brown here on the next segment, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At ContractorExam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, ContractorExam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.ContractorExam.com today.
We've had an amazing year here at Supernatural Silver. We've truly enjoyed the fantastic response from thousands of people as they've tried our extraordinary product, and we're thrilled at the life-changing results people have. Our company email is continually full of happy, satisfied customers who thank us for the help they've received from Supernatural Silver. This holiday season, as you think of gifts to give your loved ones, consider giving Supernatural Silver, a gift that can help provide good health and wellness, a gift that can change lives and make a real difference. In a world where we are constantly exposed to dangerous health threats, give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. Give Supernatural Silver. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HOLIDAY2015 for 20% off. And this holiday season, we wish you and yours the blessings of peace and good health from all of us here at supernaturalsilver.com.
With a new year coming, it's time for a new way to look at weapon storage. Safes can't be accessed quickly, and racks are unsafe for children. Covert cabinets are the next level in home defense. They fit seamlessly into any home's decor, and they provide quick access to firearms while keeping them uniquely hidden. Covert cabinets, the ideal hidden storage solution. Custom made in the USA. Covert cabinets are an elegant and practical alternative to the bulky and obvious storage systems of the past. Find out more at covertcabinets.com. That's covertcabinets.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw radio show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcoming my good friend, Dr. Scott Brown, who is a professor of finance at the AACSB, Accredited Graduate School of Business at the University of Puerto Rico, with us on this Saturday morning. He also holds a PhD in finance from the University of South Carolina, and Scott's stock investment newsletter, Return Research, has been featured by the CFA Institute and was published in the prestigious journal Financial Management. As you know, CFA Institute is the leading authority on Wall Street. So Professor Brown is author of the #1 rated Udemy course in dividends entitled Buying Income Dividend Stocks for Maximum Cash Flow Profit. Thank you, Scott, for squeezing in a couple minutes with us this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Mark, and I'm really pleased that you're teaching people finally the importance of volume, which ties right into the question of liquidity.
Well, I've been doing volume analysis for 35 years, and I picked that up when I was a floor trader, but there are other things that you want to look at, too, like contrary opinion and cycles. But tell me a little bit about what your specialty is. You seem to understand the first theory of finance by Mogliani and Miller, showing that dividends should not matter. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, the whole field of finance didn't exist before the 1950s. It was just economics. And Modigliani and Miller came out with an argument that really showed, it was an arbitrage argument, and it showed that theoretically at least people shouldn't care whether or not a stock paid a dividend. There's three different things that companies can do with their profits, as you well know, Mark. And one of them is they can pay it out as dividends. Another is that they can invest in positive NPV projects. And then, third, they can buy back shares. And so there's this big question why should they go and disgorge the company's cash when if they didn't, then the share price should rise? So shareholders, knowing that, should be able to choose whether or not they want the higher capital gain from a stock that doesn't pay dividends compared to the income from a stock that does pay dividends. And what happened is over the years, that did not hold up in the data.
You don't believe in diversification either. Why is that?
Well, it depends. It really depends. If an investor is going after superior return, then diversification is going to do what we call in the classroom, which is dummying to the mean. And if an investor really can successfully pick stocks using things like your VR indicator, and of course you've got to go back before that to find a stock that's more likely to rise, then it doesn't make any sense to diversify. In other words, if you have a high enough certainty that a stock is likely to rise, then you're better off to place a larger bet rather than a smaller bet, and you can show that mathematically.
So put your eggs in one basket, but watch the basket carefully, maybe, huh?
Yeah, and Andrew Carnegie and Mark Twain both wrote that, and it does reflect a managerial wisdom, which is, hey, if we think through this process, we've got better odds of beating the market rather than just trying to use strategies such as diversification that are designed to, keep us from actually thinking too much.
Is dollar cost averaging an intelligent stock market strategy, in your opinion?
No, I don't think it's a very smart strategy at all. And it goes back to this whole thing of if you can tell that a stock is rising through the simplest form of technical analysis, which is shown to be profoundly powerful, which is to just look at a trend line. And you can determine an uptrend very simply just by looking to see if the current stock price is higher today than it was a year ago. And those simple things have been shown to beat the market. So if you know through empirical findings in places like the Journal of Finance that a stock that's been uptrending for a year is actually more likely to continue uptrending than a stock that's been downtrending, it certainly doesn't seem very logical to keep buying into a downtrending stock, which is what dollar cost averaging is, or can imply.
Even for the indexes, the same theory would apply then. If you're in a bear market, why buy all the way down?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what is your opinion about technical analysis then? Apparently you're pretty positive about it. That seems to be the guiding factor for you to determine what trend is first.
Yeah, initially we had the capital asset pricing model that came out of mathematical work in the 60s and 70s. And then as we rolled into the 80s, Professor Titman and Jagadish came up with this bizarre finding that stocks that had been, higher, rising over the last year offered substantially higher returns over the capital asset pricing market model. And eventually the evidence became so compelling that momentum was finally added as a factor in the capital asset pricing model. It was actually added as the fourth factor because Fama and French, who were two of the most staunch supporters of efficiency, finally caved in and wrote a seminal article where they decided that they had to add the size variable for the January effect, and they had to add a variable for value. And then in 2012, they wrote a very interesting article where they actually came out and they actually quantified the alpha, the Jensen's alpha, the percentage by which you would expect to beat the market by using those anomalies. And it turns out that size was just, 1.5 percentage points. Value was something like 5, and momentum was like 7 or 8. So momentum by far is the most profoundly powerful factor that somebody can employ in their trading, and that's very much technical analysis, right square center.
Scott, you do have this course, and this is how you want our listeners to reach you or to sign up for your course. Tell us a little bit about how people should reach you and what do you think they should be doing now? Yeah, actually, there's two different ways they can reach me. They can reach me without, if they want to sample some of my material. I'm just now about to launch a free course on Act 20 and 22 here in Puerto Rico, which allows people who become very profitable as investors to reduce their taxes on portfolio income. That's going to be the University of Puerto Rico MBA Student Act 20 and Act 22 guide that we're just almost have launched out. And then the other way they can reach me is through the dividend course, which is also up on Udemy, and they can enroll in that. But again, they can get to me if they don't feel like they have the income right now to go ahead and enroll in the course, then they can take the free course as well and get some additional information. Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate it. We're talking to Dr. Scott Brown this Saturday morning here on Wall Street Raw. And if you want to reach him, please do so as he indicated and go to Udemy for his dividend investment course, which sounds like it's really cool since it's #1 rated. Thank you, Scott, and we'll have you back real soon, and enjoy Puerto Rico. Thank you, Mark. It's such a pleasure. And let me know I can help you anytime, okay? Anytime. Thank you very much. Well, stay tuned. We're going to have some more Mark Leibovit for you here in segment 3, and then in segment 4, my good friend Eric Haddock. So stay tuned.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
As the cold and flu season approaches, Silver Lungs is ready to help you and your family through the toughest of the year by supporting your immune system and overall health. From our best-selling colloidal silver generating system to our entire line of silver-based skin gels, nasal sprays, soaps, and silver solutions. Silver solutions remain one of nature's most powerful and least expensive antibacterial agents. Now you can produce your own for pennies a day in the comfort of your home using the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. Learn more today at www.silverlungs.com.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Welcome back. It's Mark Leibovit, and you're listening to Wall Street Raw on the Saturday morning, December 18th, and had a good show for you today. We just heard from Scott Brown, and we're going to be talking to my good friend Eric Haddock on the next segment. I've known Eric for about 30 years, and real honor having him on the program on this Saturday morning. You just heard some excerpts from my favorite movie, The Ten Commandments. You wonder why that's at the beginning of the show. Well, there's some principles there, obviously, in the commandments that we all need to abide by, and unfortunately we don't hear or read those on Wall Street. And if we have time, we can talk about some of the scandals that, again, arose this past week on Wall Street. And we've seen and heard these for, 7-8 years, but for 30 years I've been writing how the markets are rigged. We saw this as a floor trader years ago on the floor. You have to have professional help or really know how to follow the markets to try to avoid the scams and shams that are out there. Before the market crashes, you have to have some sense that's coming and try to protect yourself. I'm not of the view that you sit there like a victim and you watch your stocks drop 50% which could happen again in the weeks and months ahead. Janet Yellen had a big surprise after her minor interest rate hike here the last couple of days. Market originally rallied, then started to come off. And as I said in the first segment and have been saying here for quite some time, the market's been in distribution all year. Most groups have underperformed the market. Just a few names have been holding the market up. You know, if you want to look at names like the Apples and the Facebooks and the Netflix and the Amazons, and we go down the list of a few, but for the most part, the internal market has been weak. And our forecast model, which we published at the beginning of 2015, said indeed, we're going to get a bear market here this year, and you got to be really careful. And indeed, that's really what's happened. We had a big sell-off in August. Yes, we came back and rallied, but many stocks didn't participate. So defense is really the key here. There are plenty of less obvious reasons that I guess you should pay attention to. The yuan, the Chinese yuan, is now the cheapest since it's been 2011, the sign of ongoing capital outflows and worries about the domestic economy. Since it was China's initial devaluation in August that set off the stock market panic, it could happen again. How about the commodities market? You don't need me to tell you that stocks have generally been paying close attention to what's happening in oil and crude oil. I had read somewhere, we talked about this in the past, that about 40% of the U.S. economy is directly or indirectly related to the oil industry, which is huge. And, oil continued down this week. It got down to $34.29 intraday on Friday. I was looking for around 32 or so. Just technically, it doesn't mean it can't go further, but that was a target that we had set, and until you get confirmation of a bottom, you don't know where the bottom is. But I suspect a lot of year-end tax loss selling may be going on here, and maybe there may be a bit of a panic low pretty soon, at least for trading purposes. But obviously a lot has changed fundamentally in the oil business and politically. So until you get confirmation, you have to be a little careful. But I think there's an opportunity coming there, and we'll report that at vrtrader.com. Let's talk about bonds. No market on the planet should be as sensitive to the Fed rate as an interest rate hike market like this, but it's behaving the opposite. In fact, I'm bullish on bonds. I'm referring to the 30-year bonds, not the short-term interest rates that we saw Yellen address on Wednesday. The bond market and long-term yields are gradually falling, even as the very short-term yields are holding steady. The 2-year bond is basically unchanged, while the 10-year dropped 5 basis points and the 30-year fell 7 points. So we're actually seeing a little bit of a recovery despite those little pullbacks I just mentioned the last few days, which tells me that Yellen may have to either reverse her policy or there's a flight to safety into the bond market because of what's happening elsewhere. It means that the yield curve is essentially flattening. So that's that. And when I look at some of the active stocks here this past week, we like to do that every week, not so much active, the ones that are biggest point movers up and down, to give you a sense of what happened this week. I'm not going to go over the exchange-traded funds. Many of these are 2-3 time leveraged, and they sort of distort the numbers that I report to you here. But, for example, Amazon had a 24-point gain this past week. That's ticker symbol AMZN. It closed at $664. Let's see, Solar City had a big week this week. A lot of interest in the solar stocks, but more particularly Solar City. First Solar, FSLR, really didn't do as well, but SCTY, Solar City, was up about 20 points this week, closing at 56.91, a little higher during the week. Let's see here, Valiant Pharmaceuticals, which has been in the news in the last several weeks, it was up 15.5 points. That's VRX that closed at 108.50. Pacira Pharmaceuticals, that's PCRX, that was up 14 to 76.11. By the way, these are not recommendations. We're just going down the list of the big point movers. Tesla was up 13.5 points. That's TSLA, closing at 230, possibly resulting from the move in Solar City because they have that battery and a lot of interest in solar technology and energy savings outside of oil. So that's a big plus. We had Sage Therapeutics up 12 points. That's SAGE closing around 61. On the downside this week, Kansas City Life was down quite a bit. It was actually, according to this KCLI was down 11,000 points. Got to check that one out. That 41.51 down 99.7%. So could be correct there. Berkshire Hathaway Class A was down 1,000 points. Now we know that's true. That's BRK. That's an $194,000 stock if you're fortunate enough to own Berkshire Hathaway. Medigas ADR, that's MDGS. We always have this on the list. It's a quite volatile stock. It was down 36.5 points, closing at 303 because it's a low price name. Barclays Bank ETN was down 28 points to 56.40. Markel was down. It's MKL down 23 points to 862. So there's some of the highlights there on the up and down side. Just like to summarize those for you each week. Also, let's take a quick look at the e-signal chart. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse this week. eSignal, is the platform that I use, and if you want more information on that, you go to eSignal.com/radio, eSignal.com/radio, and a couple negative volume reversals stood out this past 5 or 10 days in Apple Computer. I'm looking at my chart here, putting an eSignal chart up and putting my negative VR up there. We had a negative VR on December 8th, and we had one again this past week on the 16th, and what that means is selling is coming off of a little of a rally point in Apple, so despite the fact that Apple's been such a great performer, it's showing a lot of negative or some negative patterns here, so it looks like it could still be going lower as long as I see this negative volume. So if you get eSignal and you put up an Apple chart, you see the clear sell signal come in and indicates that there's more sellers than buyers. I guess the smart money is getting out of Apple here, at least on a very short-term basis. And of course, I'm flexible. When volume switches, we'll switch accordingly. The long-term view, what is a long-term view here? We have a lot of markets to talk about and, limited time. Gold got down to 1046.90 on Thursday. It took out the low from about 2 weeks ago at 1047.70 from about 80 cents and then turned up. So showing some life here. Could see a little bit of a bottom here in the gold and silver market finally. That 1040.50 area was very important. I also wanted to mention, the dollar. The dollar is trading just under the 98.80 level. Looks like it still topped out to me on a short-term basis or near-term basis. So I think the dollar will pull back here. I don't know if it's a big top, but there is a top there, so you have to be a little bit careful about the dollar. As far as the stock market is concerned, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, a break below the August lows is not unreasonable. And if we have some time at the end of segment 4, we'll go further. So stay tuned for Eric Haddock on my next segment.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Introducing the all-new eSignal, home of successful traders across the globe. eSignal is packed with new features, including proprietary studies, free education, new content, and usability enhancements. The eSignal 12 series has a revolutionary new look and feel that allows users to quickly access free education and live events, superior customer support, and enhanced functionality. eSignal's Enhanced Market Screener Plus allows you to create custom scans in simple English by combining both technical and fundamental criteria across more than 25 global markets. Sharing with your friends has never been easier. eSignal users can now share with their Facebook, StockTwits, and Twitter friends their trading ideas and charts. And remember, trading education is at the heart of everything we do. eSignal offers in-depth free trading education by industry experts. Test drive eSignal risk-free for 30 days. Sign up at eSignal.com for a personalized demonstration. eSignal, home of the successful trader.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
911, what is your emergency?
There's somebody in my house. Hurry, please.
A home break-in happens every 22 seconds. Homes without a security system are up to 3 times more vulnerable to a burglary. That's why there's Simply Safe. In an emergency, our advanced wireless technology alerts police up to 10 times faster, and your connection to emergency services can't be cut because Simply Safe doesn't rely on landlines. Simply Safe costs less than half what traditional companies charge, just $14.99 a month, and there's no commitment to an annual contract. Protect your family with the highest caliber security. Go now to simplysafedefense.com and get 10% off with free shipping and a 3-year warranty. Hurry, and you'll also receive a keychain remote worth $25. Try Simply Safe for a full 60 days. You'll feel confident that your family is safe or your money back. Go to simplysafedefense.com right now. simplysafedefense.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
It's a real pleasure having a very special guest with me on Wall Street Raw this Saturday morning, an old friend in contact. It's got to be for 20, 25 years, Eric Haddock, who produces the Inside Track newsletter. His subtitle is Let Us Run with Patience the Race That Is Set Before Us, quoting Hebrews 12:1. And being a little bit religious myself and being very biased to the biblical interpretation of things, among everything else I do, this attracted me to Eric many, many years ago, and we have a lot of overlapping feelings about that whole area, about the correlation of cycles and the Bible and so forth to the markets. But it's best Eric describes it more himself. He's a trader and analyst. He's been intimately involved with the markets for 30 years. He's been involved with Fibonacci mathematics and the Elliott wave principle. He worked closely with major institutions such as BP, Arco, Occidental, Royal Dutch Shell, Chase Manhattan. He founded in 1994 the Current newsletter. And Eric, thank you for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark. It's really my pleasure.
So much to talk about here. We have so much volatility in the markets. It's really your pleasure where you want to go with this interview, because we can talk about a lot of things. We talked about the major markets, and I know you like to reserve a lot of your opinions for your clients, but in a bigger picture sense, can you give us a little sense of how you read the markets now in Wall Street and what's going on in the state of the financial world?
Sure, and it's very timely for that, too. Let me try and take this from the bigger picture down. For this period, I have been looking for 2015 to 2016 to be negative for the markets on the whole. Coming into 2015, one of the things I was looking for was a 15 to 20% drop in the middle third of the year, and then a more negative scenario to start to develop after mid-December of 2015. One of the cycles that I've followed in the stock indices that's been really uncanny over the last several years is a 32 to 33 week cycle, and that was really one of the keys for kind of honing my analysis, where specifically I thought we would see tops and downturns. And the last 3 phases of that cycle came into play in mid-September of 2014, after which we saw a quick, sharp drop into middle of October 2014. Then the next phase was in late April to early May, 32 to 33 weeks later. That is when almost all the primary indices topped out, and that triggered what I was expecting of a 3 to 4 month, 15 to 20% decline. But even in the midst of that, the one thing I kept keeping in perspective for my readers was that, okay, I thought this was going to be a quick, sharp drop. I thought we were going to see a strong advance in the fourth quarter of 2015. But then the next phase of that cycle was projecting a high for middle of December, between December 7th and the 18th, and I thought the real trouble would begin to take hold after that cycle. So here we are having this discussion at a very timely point. As we came into early December, there were then daily cycles that I follow telling me to look for that top between December 15th and 17th, and most of the markets spiked higher on the 17th and reversed sharply lower, and we're starting to sell off from there. So it's, like I said, it's very timely, right at the beginning of this next bearish cycle, and I think the first significant phase of that cycle could last a few months into late first quarter, early second quarter of 2016.
It's funny because Janet Yellen gave everybody the news that they wanted a couple of days ago, and here we are, the markets are turning south. It's really perverse.
Well, it's often that either buy the rumor, sell the fact type of thing. Even bonds, which I had a buy signal on the day before she announced the news, they've actually rallied pretty good the last couple of days since the announcement, which, a normal investor hearing that rates are bumping up and they could continue to bump up through 2016 would think that means you sell bonds, but it had already been factored into the market. There's other forces impacting that, and bonds have seen a decent rally since then. So as you say, it's kind of a perverse thing if you're just looking at the news and the market's reaction, but as you and I both know, the market anticipates and factors things in often long in advance.
There's so many things that you talk about in your newsletter, and we only have a minute or two here left, and I got to have you back whenever you have time because there's, again, so much to cover. But when you talk about Earth disturbance cycles and some of the biblical connections, what's your pleasure? Because both are very interesting subjects to our listeners.
Well, the thing that I think the topic of biblical cycles, and when I try to clarify for my readers too, I'm not trying to make this a religious discussion, even though I have my set of beliefs, but the Bible's also a historical account of specific areas of history, and one of the things that plays through from the very early days, the life of Moses, through the pinnacle of Israel's history and their kings, right through to the Common Era, is a 40-year cycle. And I have also seen that in the markets and in America's history. It is uncanny to me, the accuracy and the precision of this 40-year cycle going back to the 1770s. And if you do quick calculations, you'll see that the 2010s are the next phase of that cycle. And that cycle has applied to geopolitical and military conflicts. It has applied to financial, economic, and particularly currency/gold and even /banking impacts, and also has impacted things like food crises.
Eric, we just about ran out of time here, and we have like 20 minutes to talk, and unfortunately we don't. Eric, how do our listeners reach you for more information?
They can go to any of our websites. Really the one with the most current updates we've been keeping on top of is 40yearcycle.com. That's 40yearcycle.com. There's also 17yearcycle.com and our flagship website of Inside Track with 2 I's in the middle, INSIIDETRACK.com.
We have to pick up on this conversation. There's so much to talk about. Thank you, Eric, and I really appreciate you squeezing us in on a Saturday morning. Eric Haddock, publisher of the Inside Track newsletter, and we're going to have him back real soon. Thank you, Eric, and really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, real pleasure. Thank you again, Eric, for being with us this Saturday. We're going to probably replay this interview next week because Eric and I are really on the same wavelength with cycles and with that little bit of the biblical connection, which really can be proven over time here. There are others we can talk about, too. My friend Bill Koenig's been on the show as well. Hope to have him back with that same connection. Meanwhile, very heavy volume to the downside on Friday, and the major indices are very, very heavy, and that generates what I call that negative volume reversal. So looks like the Grinch may have stole Christmas here, and usually get a Santa Claus rally, and maybe they'll try to stage something here between now and the 1st. But it's a clear pattern that, an intermediate top has been formed here in the equity market. So be careful in the weeks and months ahead until we get some clear buy signal. And, with so much else we can go into here, but we only have a few seconds left. I want to encourage you to stay tuned. Next week we'll be live, even though Christmas is on Friday. We'll be live next Saturday. We'll try to update you what happened in the upcoming week, even though it would be a little bit of a shortened week. As I always do on the show, I'd like to quote my good friend Ed Hart from the old Financial News Network, who used to say as he closed his show every week on the old Financial News Network that we will know in the fullness of time. So, again, thank you for joining us on the Saturday morning, and we'll be back next week. It's Wall Street Raw, and I'm your host, Mark Leibovit.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.